Never again should the Hobbit trilogy should be called trash. Never again should the Rankin and Bass Return of the King animated adaptation should be called trash. You want to know why? Because episode 3 of Rings of Power is monster dog maggot filth slimer juice filth fungus nasty toenail juice trash of a show, and I'm gonna tell you why right now.
Há tantos seres imaginários que procuram usar-se. Há tantos seres imaginários.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy Theta J. Back like I left something, and I'm glad you're here. Yes, I'm glad you're here, and I just finished watching episode 3 of Rings of Power, and I must tell you guys, this is the most boring show, the most boring episode yet. I was going to sleep. I was nodding off. I was going crazy. I couldn't believe I was watching a Tolkien adaptation show. And this is not even Tolkien. This is just a weird show. They share the names of the people in the books. And even the people in the books are now in this because you have a lot of characters that are made up by Amazon Studios. Why? I don't have a clue, because you have millions of characters in the books of the first age and the second age of the appendices and the Silmarillions and all that good stuff. I just don't understand why this show is even made. They think that this show was just going to take us away in Middle Earth fake land, and we're going to enjoy the show and just go so crazy because we're dumb. We got small brains, and if it has Middle Earth, if it has Tolkien attached to it, we're going to love it. That's not it. And I'm going to break down this episode, so it's very important because I'm going to trash this show all the way to the end, and I will give you guys one good part about the show, so you're going to want to watch this video from the beginning all the way to the end. Also, what I need you to do, I need you to smash that like, I need you to hit that subscribe button, and I need you to hit that notification bell, because every time you hit that notification bell, it makes your boy Theta J feel oh so good and oh so swell. Yeah. Also, if you feel the need to, if you want to send me a small $2 donation, then make sure by the like and dislike button, you hit the super thanks button. That helps me out greatly. Now let's get into this video, because I'm about to trash this show to oblivion. Yeah. So let's just talk about the story. The story picks off where Galadriel and Halbrand, the fake character that was not in the books, they get rescued in the sea. And when they get rescued in the sea, they get rescued by the Númenorians. And they actually get rescued by a captain. The captain happens to be Elendil. He's a very famous character in the Tolkien books. And they get taken away to Númenor. Now, Númenor is supposed to be one of the greatest mankind places of all time. This is supposed to be like the pinnacle of human history. This is like our legendary Atlantis, would you say, they got sunken by the sea. And Númenor, they got sunken by the sea by Eru Elevator, the god of the Middle Earth. And I'm going to tell you guys, even though it looked beautiful, I was still not impressed the way Númenor looks. I have been waiting a very long time to see Númenor on the big screen, and it just didn't impress me. It just looked like any other medieval type of setting. Now, when you look at Gondor in the Lord of the Rings, at the Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, Gondor actually looks more authentic than Númenor did, which is Gondor is supposed to be 1/10 of what Númenor was. And just to see the look of it, the armor and all that stuff, everything just looked freaking basic, and it took me out. I must admit, It took me out. I was already taken out by episode 1 and 2. I don't know how I'm still hanging in there, but I told you guys, I'm a YouTube journalist, so I had to stick it through. So most of the show was sitting around Galadriel and Halbrand and how Númenor don't like elves, and that's actually in the books. After a while, Númenor pushed the elves out. They were like, freak you guys, we're jealous of you guys, we want to go to Valinor. It was just some tension that was rising up between those two, and so they was looking at Galadriel all crazy, but they said, you know what, we might need her to see what's really going on. Some suspicious stuff is going on. And then we transition to the Black Elf. The Black Elf got kidnapped by some orcs who can't stand the sun, but they're building an underground tunnel so they can go invade and kill everybody. I don't even know why that was in there. To me, there was a bunch of filler. They couldn't stand the sun. That's in the books, but I don't understand why they took all this time to build an underground tunnel just so they can go crazy and beat people down, when all you have to do is go by the books, where in nighttime, that's when the orcs come out and they wreak havoc on the planet Earth. What else was in the story? Because the story was very boring. We had the Hobbits, the Harfoots, very filler story, very boring stuff going on in there. And you got the one Hobbit guy who broke his foot, and he's saying, oh man, they're going to leave me like the others. And they was talking about how all the hobbits that got left behind and how they missed them and blah blah blah. And it was just a poor excuse of trying to recapture of what's going on in Lord of the Rings, because they're trying to recapture that moment in the Shire with like Bilbo and Frodo, but you can't recapture that. That has been something that's already been done. And the crazy thing about the Second Age, we're in the Second Age, and the Hobbits are not a big focus in the book like that. They never was. They were briefly talked about. So this show here is going to be a major failure because they're just making it up as they go, with the Hardfoots and the Black Hobbit being the main leader. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel good. It's very boring. It's not authentic, and you can tell that this mystery meteorite character, he is Gandalf himself. It's nobody but Gandalf. They keep emphasizing his power when it comes to fire. Now, a lot of people out there believe, no, that's Sauron. That doesn't make sense. They've already been fighting Sauron. Sauron is out there in the shadows. Galadriel already know what he looks like. It's not gonna be him. The reason why they're gonna put Gandalf in this show is because they want you to be familiar with the Lord of the Rings world, even though Gandalf was not in the Second Age. So it doesn't look right. It looks bad. It looks horrible. It's terrible. And it's just a big snowball effect of this being a very bad show. So we get towards the end of the episode, and at the very end of the episode, we found out that Halbrand is some kind of hidden king, and it's going to be that part where he tries to be like Aragorn. He's going to regain himself. He's going to fight these battles, and he's going to try to be the chosen king that he was supposed to be. And like I told you guys, what do that sound like? That sounds just like Return of the King. They taking all these elements from the books and they're putting it into the show, but it's not working out because everything looks artificial. The background, sometimes the backgrounds look absolutely good. Sometimes the cinematography looks pretty good, but it just doesn't have that authentic feel that Peter Jackson had. Peter Jackson, he did a marvelous job with just making things feel authentic and making it flow and having that uniqueness of Tolkien. This entire show, I'm trying to give you guys an honest, unbiased opinion about this show, and it just looks like a Game of Thrones clone. And I think their biggest mistake too, and there's been plenty of mistakes, but one of their biggest mistakes out there is coming out the same month as House of the Dragon. Biggest mistake ever. They're going to fail. The numbers are out there. People are watching House of Dragon over Tolkien, which should never happen in human history. It should never happen where those numbers are bigger than anything Tolkien. Tolkien is supposed to be like a big epic moment in movie history, and this is just not it. You guys let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this show? Do you think this show is going pretty good and Fatal J is just simply a hater, or do you think this is terrible and they're going to cancel the show? I'm really hoping that after this season 1, either two things is going to happen. I hope that they learn a lesson and they actually get more authentic and they do a true adaptation of the book, or number 2, they cancel it. But if they cancel the show, that's going to be too much of a win to the fans, to the hardcore fans out there. They're not going to let that happen, I promise you. So I'm hoping that they fix this show. Good kudos to you guys out there that's making noise out there, that's really telling these creators out there that this show is horrible, that it's crap. You just let them know. Keep bringing up the pages in the books and telling these guys that it's not authentic. Now they're coming up with narratives talking about how the fans are being mean, how the fans are being R words. And yes, I'm saying R words because you know how YouTube is. But they're accusing you of being something that you're not just because you don't like the show. We live in a sensitivity world right now where if you speak your opinion about a show or a certain topic, they label you demeaning names, and that's not true. Because look here, I'm a black guy, I'm speaking about the show, and I will say this show is an absolutely disrespect to J.R.R. Tolkien. I'm trying my best, ladies and gentlemen, to review this show without quitting, but it's getting very hard. This was a boring episode, like episode 1, 2, and 3. I will let you guys know what's going on with episode 4. You guys, please help me. Please help me, please. Get back at your boy Fatal J. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell, because every time you hit that notification bell, it makes your boy Fatal J feel oh so good and oh so swell. And I'm out of here. Ninja Vanish.
Hey, yo.